Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining tonight's webinar. We'll get started right now, and I'm excited that all of you can join to learn more about the University of Guelph and specifically admission for Ontario high school applicants. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides in the land of the Between the Lakes Treaty No. 3, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is part of the Dish with One Spoon, a covenant between Indigenous nations to live peaceably on the territory of the Great Lakes region. We recognize that this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, and acknowledging them reminds us of our responsibility to where we work and live. My name is Jessie Kennedy, and as Acting Liaison Officer for Secondary School Recruitment, I'm thrilled that you could join us tonight for this webinar. I graduated from the University of Guelph in 2017. I was in the Bachelor of Applied Science program and completed a major in child studies and a minor in psychology. During my time as a Griffin, I was a student athlete, a tour guide, and a social media ambassador. I also used to be the social media intern for admission services, and I also work part-time in our athletics department as a sports info assistant. This webinar series has been created to help our future Griffins as they navigate this new environment. We have weekly topics ranging everywhere from admission to exploring the city of Guelph. We have a webinar specifically for parents and supporting members. So I encourage you to visit our website to learn all about the upcoming webinars and dates. And at this time, I'd like to go over the overview of the schedule, and I'll also introduce my colleague, Michelle, in a moment. In terms of the schedule for tonight, we're going to go over the admission website. We'll talk about how you apply through OUAC. We're going to talk about some supplementary documentation that is required for some programs. We'll talk about when you can expect to receive an offer of admission, and we'll also go over some important dates and things to remember. Please use the Q&A feature throughout the presentation, as I have some colleagues that will be responding to questions throughout. And at this time, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Michelle.
Thanks, Jessie, and hi everyone. My name is Michelle, and this is my second year as a liaison officer. I graduated in 2018 from our Bachelor of Commerce degree, and I majored in marketing management. During my time, I was a work-study student for our admissions office, working as a recruitment and admission assistant. I also played multiple intramural sports and was an orientation volunteer. One of my roommate traditions was trivia night every Tuesday at Brass Taps, one of our on-campus restaurants, and we actually won in our last semester of university. So remember, I was in your shoes not too long ago, and my journey started when a Guelph liaison officer spoke to my high school. So we can begin your journey by learning about how to apply. You can find all of our admission information at admission.uguelph.ca, and we can get started with our admission requirements. From the landing page, select the Admission Information tab at the black banner at the top of the page, and choose the Ontario Admission Requirement Chart link to launch the digital viewbook on pages 74 and 75. You can also request a hard copy viewbook to be mailed to you, which you will see on that website listed on the right side of your page. So starting with the admission requirement chart, the first column lists each of our degree programs with a corresponding page number where you'll find additional information in the digital viewbook. We have 13 undergraduate programs, with our largest 4 being the Bachelor of Science, Engineering, Arts, and Commerce. We also have specialized degrees such as landscape architecture, environmental sciences, and our world-renowned Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. The second column in the chart lists each major within that degree program, and the red box means that the major is available with the co-op option. The third and fourth columns list the required courses, and the fifth column lists the estimated cutoff ranges. These ranges indicate an average of cutoffs over the last 3 years and are meant to be used as a guide. It's important to note that cutoff averages change year to year, and having an average within this range does not guarantee you'll receive an offer of admission. And the final column lists important notes, so please be sure to read these, as some programs have additional admission criteria or recommended courses that you should be aware of.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Michelle. And sometimes we get some questions from students asking about the cumulative average and if we look at course-specific marks. So could you maybe just speak to that a little bit?
Yes, we do not require you to have a specific grade for a required course. Your admission average will be a cumulative average of your top courses, which includes the required courses for the program.
Perfect, thank you. And I know every school is different, so I encourage all future Griffins attending tonight to please do your research, chat with admission counselors and students and prospective students. This really is the best way to get your information as attending these webinars. So I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. This is really the best way to find out all the information about each institution. And as a reminder, please use that Q&A feature throughout the presentation, and my colleagues are ready to answer your questions. And Michelle, could you maybe speak to and just reiterate again about the estimated cutoff ranges? I know sometimes some students are not sure if they need to meet exactly that cutoff range, if they should aim higher. So if you could just speak to that a little bit.
Exactly. So exact cutoffs for the current cycle will be determined by the quantity and quality of applicants. So please use the estimated cutoff ranges as a guide when comparing your cumulative average.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And as Michelle mentioned, we do offer co-ops. So you'll see listed in the second column here under majors, you'll see that some of them have a red box beside them. That means that the major indicates a co-op option. So the minimum admission average for certain degree programs, as Michelle mentioned, it does vary. If you're applying to co-op, it typically is 80%, but as Michelle mentioned, it can change year to year, and it really is based on the quality and quantity of applications that we get. We get a lot of questions from students asking about, do they need to apply to co-op and also the regular program? And the answer is you do not. If you are interested in applying to a degree that offers co-op, we recommend applying to co-op right from high school. If you do not meet the average for co-op, we will automatically consider you for the regular program. And now that you've kind of seen how what programs we offer you and maybe what type of degree you're looking at studying, we'll now move on to talking about how you apply to the U of G. So once you've determined which program you're interested in and you've confirmed that you have all the required courses for admission, you will need to make your application through the Ontario University's Application Centre. You can find more information specifically on how to apply to Guelph at admission.uofguelph.ca/how-to. Please note that there are a couple different types of applications. So if you are a current Ontario high school student, you'll be using the OUAC 101 online application form. If you are a university transfer student, college transfer, or any other type of applicant, you will be using the 105 application form. I encourage you to get in contact with your guidance counselors, and they'll have information for you about your PIN numbers, which is what you will be using to apply to university. In addition to the application where we're looking at grades, Michelle, sometimes students are asking about supplementary documentation. So could you speak to that?
So in the important notes section of the admission requirement chart, you will see that some of our programs require a background information form. So one of the programs is the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture. So you can use this opportunity to outline your passion and understanding of landscape architecture, as well as your vision for what you would do with this degree. We also require it for the Diploma in Turfgrass Management, which has similar questions along with outlining your skills and experience in the industry and what your career path and work plans are. For the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, this is also one of our requirements, but I definitely recommend using the link on screen for additional requirements, which is certain courses within your undergraduate degree, work experience, as well as no direct admission from high school. This form will be used in conjunction with your admission average, and they are mandatory, but we also have an optional form that we encourage all applicants to complete, which is the student profile form.
The student profile form, this provides you with the opportunity to tell us about any non-academic factors that may have affected your grades, such as illness, extracurriculars, or other extenuating circumstances. We strongly encourage all of you to complete this form, even if you believe that your admission average will fall within the range that we've identified, as admission cutoffs do change year to year. The submission deadline for the student profile form is May 1st. It's looked at in our third round of offers, and it's typically, if our students who may be falling below the cutoff, typically up to 5%. The form is not yet available, but keep checking our website and it will be available in mid-November. We also have the supplementary information form for students with disabilities. If you feel that your disability has negatively impacted your grades, we encourage you to fill out this form as well. It can be found at the website listed below, and it will be available in mid-November, and the deadline is also May 1st, 2021. So now that we've talked about how you can apply to the university, I'm sure a lot of you are asking, when are you going to receive an offer of admission? So Michelle's going to speak to a bit about the admission plan and when you can expect to hear back from us.
On screen now, you will find our admission plan, which explains when we will be sending out offers of admission and how we will be calculating your admission average. We will begin sending out offers in late January and will continue to do so through May as grades are submitted. In each round of offers, we will be looking for 6 grade 12 U or M courses and will use required subjects in calculating your admission average. We will use grade 11 U or M courses where grade 12 U or M courses are not yet available. For more detailed information on admission average calculation and cutoff averages for each round, please read this chart and compare it to the estimated cutoff ranges in the admission requirement chart in the digital viewbook. Once you receive an offer of admission, it can be found on the OUAC website, and you'll also receive a congratulations package from us in your mailbox. So I remember when I received mine, my mom came home from work and I had that big congratulations envelope in the mail, and it was so exciting, and that solidified that I wanted to be a Guelph Griffin. So it was definitely a very exciting time. But I know that some aspects of course delivery are a little different this year. So Jessie, do you want to address the new system with the quad semesters?
For sure. And before I get to that, I just want to say it is a really exciting time when you receive that offer of admission. I still remember when I got mine in, oh my goodness, it probably would have been 2013, I guess, when I got my offer. It's so exciting to get a package in the mail. It'll have information for next steps and really continuing that journey. So be sure to check OUAC as well your mailbox. So as Michelle mentioned, we know that things are a little bit maybe different with course delivery for this year. And throughout our admission cycle, we always are looking for your top 6 completed 4U/M courses or equivalents to make that admission average, and we'll also include your required subjects. Where not available, we will use a combination of 6 completed or in progress 4U or M courses, and also completed 3U or M courses. That's grade 11. And we'll also include, as mentioned, your required subjects. So in other words, for the 2021 admission cycle, we will continue to use grade 11 courses to supplement the required courses as needed in our final round of offers. Please remember though, in order to fulfill your offer, you need to complete 6 grade 12 U or M courses and include the required subjects, and the conditions will be outlined in your offer letter. If you have any questions at any time throughout this presentation or after, you can use the Q&A right now, and you can also send an email to find.yourself@uoguelph.ca. And if we are unable to answer your question, we'll put you in contact with someone in the admissions department to make sure that you have all the information that you need. As we mentioned, this is a really exciting time in terms of making that step to university and really starting your journey for post-secondary. We know it's a lot of different steps and different processes, so we hope these webinars have been helpful just to go over the process, let you know what required courses that you need. I highly encourage all of you to download the digital viewbook, as well as order a hard copy of the viewbook that just launched last week. It's a great way to see not only photos of campus, but we have certain sections specifically on admission. We can provide information to you. Maybe you wanted to learn about a different program. You can read profile quotes from students. Maybe you're not sure what type of applicant you are, so you can read through some of the FAQs and make sure that you have all the information necessary before making your application. As a reminder, some upcoming events that we have, so be sure to explore our campus online. We have a video series project that was launched a few weeks ago where we have different videos from various spots on campus, such as the library. There's one about the canon, which is a unique tradition right in the heart of campus. There's videos for our dining facilities, and just a great way to hear from a current student or a past student about maybe a certain spot that you would typically see on a campus tour. We also have YouTube videos where you can watch profile students, and that's really the best way to learn about a program that you might be interested in, is to hear from a current student about why they chose that program or why they decided to apply to the U of G. I always encourage students to look at the course calendar as well. So if you're deciding maybe between political science or criminal justice and public policy, or maybe even justice and legal studies, a new major offered in our Bachelor of Arts, looking at the courses that you'll take in the program is a really great way to see the types of classes that you could potentially be in this time next year. We also have an opportunity for you to chat one-on-one with a liaison officer. So Michelle, would you mind coming back on and just let our future Griffins know what they can expect in a one-on-one meeting?
The one-on-one meeting is a great opportunity to ask those specific questions about maybe a program you're interested in, living in residence, the city of Guelph, and we can really connect with you one-on-one. We can help navigate which type of applicant you are and help you throughout the process as well. So it's a great opportunity to ask those very specific questions. It will be about 30 minutes and you could speak to myself or one of my other colleagues that are liaison officers, and we're there to help you out. So I definitely recommend booking one of those, and hope we get to talk later on as well.
It is a great service. Sometimes you might just have specific questions. So joining a one-on-one meeting is a great way to connect with our liaison officers. Also for tonight too, if you want to rewatch this session, we are going to be it is recording right now, and we will post it on our website. So you have access to our recordings after today. Another way to learn more about the university is to attend a liaison presentation. So that will be hosted by Michelle and all the other liaison officers. It's a 30-minute presentation, and you will hear about all the degree programs that we offer. I know for me, when I was in high school and looking at different degree programs, in high school, I had 3 different types of sciences: biology, chemistry, and physics. But then when you look at university, right in our Bachelor of Science, we offer over 27 majors just within that one degree. So it can definitely be a bit overwhelming on which program that you're most interested in. So by attending the general liaison presentation, they will go over all 13 of our undergrad degree programs. They'll talk about some experiential learning opportunities. They'll talk about co-op, they'll talk about residence, athletics, and they are offered 3 times a day at 12, 4, and 7. So if you wanted to attend one tonight, Monday through Thursday, and then on Fridays, once at 12 p.m. So that's another great way to learn more about the university. Our fall preview day is on November 8th. We'll have campus partners attending, current students, alumni. Again, just another event to teach you a little bit more about the University of Guelph. And the webinar series will continue next week, where we are talking all about the city of Guelph. I always tell students that when you're picking a university, yes, the academic program is very important, but also remembering that not only are you choosing a school for 4 years, but you're choosing a home. So I encourage you to attend this webinar. We're going to hear from some past alumni who now run their own company in the city of Guelph, why they chose to stay. We're going to talk about bus passes, how those work, maybe how to get around the city, different types of restaurants, walking trails. We'll talk about some of the music festivals that we offer. So it's a really great way to learn more about this city as well. So with that, we're going to open it up to questions, and Michelle and I will also answer some frequently asked questions that we receive through some of our presentations. So Michelle, one question that we always get from students is what happens if they repeat a course in high school?
So for the 2021 admission cycle, the U of G will be using the highest grade reported for any repeated course. So if you take a course also outside of your regular day high school, we will accept the course as long as it's taken within a ministry approved school.
Yes, and if you have maybe already made your application to the University of Guelph, which is really exciting, but maybe after attending a liaison presentation, you might change your mind or you want to add another degree choice, Michelle, can they still make decisions if they've already submitted their application?
Yes, you can definitely make changes. You will need to amend your OUAC application, but make sure you do so by April 15th, 2021 to be considered equally for admission to all programs.
And what happens if a student wants to apply then more than one program at the U of G?
Yeah, they can do that for sure. If you're applying to the University of Guelph directly from high school, you will be considered for all programs that you apply to.
Yeah, and I see there's a question here about alternate offers, which is great. So already thinking ahead to the winter and what happens if you receive an alternate offer. So for some programs at the University of Guelph, we do have alternate offers. The first type being, if you are not admitted to the co-op program, we will automatically consider you for the regular program. For the second one, within the Bachelor of Arts, applicants who do not meet the admission average for criminal justice and public policy, we will automatically consider you for Bachelor of Arts, the major in sociology. And then within the Bachelor of Science, for students who apply to animal biology, biomedical science, or human kinetics, if you do not meet the minimum admission average for that degree program, we will automatically consider you for the Bachelor of Science with a major in biological sciences. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but as mentioned, this is recorded. It will be posted on our website, and please continue to ask questions in the Q&A. We're here to support you on this journey and answer anything that you might have. So I'm going to take a look at the Q&A, and it's here. Someone's asked about tryouts for varsity volleyball. So that's a great question. I have a big passion for athletics as well. In terms of varsity sports, we always encourage students to get in contact with the coach because it can vary team by team. Typically, we have open tryouts in the summer usually, but some teams have recruitment only, so it does vary. If you want to send an email to the account listed on the screen here, find.yourself@uguelph.ca, we can send you the exact contact for the coach, and we'll can connect you, and then you can send them an email. A great question. And there's a question here about how much are the tuition fees for the Bachelor of Science? So it does depend on what type of applicant you are, if you're and what type of resident you are as well. So in terms of the tuition, Guelph is a semester-based school, which means that you'll be paying your tuition in September and January. So the great thing about that is that you're not paying everything up front at the beginning of the year. The rates have not been yet released for fall 2021, but if you go into the finance website, you can search what they are. But typically, tuition can vary anywhere from $3,000 up to maybe $6,000 or $7,000 per semester. I would say science is probably on the higher end of that, but you can check out the website just to see the fees that we have for various programs. Michelle, do you want to take this question? Someone's asking about where we apply for residence and how they can apply for that.
Yes, so on our housing website, you can see all the information about our different residences. You can use the virtual room tours to see the variety of styles, which range from apartment, suite, and traditional, located in 12 different buildings in 3 main areas of campus. So this also includes academic clusters to live with students in the same program, or living learning centers such as the Arts House and International House. So in the application on the housing website, you will list your top 3 choices of room styles that you prefer. So you will select the building choice as well as the room type. So for me, I really wanted a single room, and South Residence is our largest complex on campus, which has mostly single rooms. So I thought that was a great option for me since everyone was kind of in the same position, living on their own, but had so many connections right there on the floor. There were 6 people per floor that shared a full bathroom and also a common lounge on every other floor, which made it really easy to meet friends and also to study with others for exams. So I definitely recommend checking out our housing website to see all those different resources. You can also see YouTube videos to get a better idea as well. Something to note is at the end of your application, you can also choose if the room type or building type is more important to you, and that will be a big part in the decision process for placing you in a residence. And it is a lottery system.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. And residence is such a great way to start building that community, but we do want to make sure that we are protecting the health and safety of our students. So please continue to monitor the website for updates. There's a question here about the different types of residence. Are there any single dorms? So I'll answer this one. Michelle did speak to it a little bit, but in terms of residence, there are so many different styles. I personally did live in a single room. I thought it was just a great way for me to kind of have that space to myself for homework, but then it was great that I could open my door and get to know people as well. In terms of the different styles, I always encourage students to, as Michelle mentioned, check out the YouTube videos, but also remember that you really don't spend a lot of time in residence. You are in class, which you have anywhere from classes, you're looking at maybe 15 hours of coursework. Then if you have any additional labs, then your lecture times, you're at the library. If you're in athletics, maybe you're working as a personal trainer, maybe you're at intramurals. There's so many different other things that you'll be doing. So you really don't spend a lot of time in residence. And in terms of which one is the best one, it really will be the one that you live in. And I know that sounds like a cheesy line, but it really is true. I loved living in Lennox-Addington. I thought it was a great location on campus, but we are a pedestrian campus. It's about 5 to 7 minute walk from one side of campus to the other, and your lectures will vary based on what type of building. So maybe you'll have a course in, if you're in the Bachelor of Commerce program, maybe you'll have a building in our newly renovated business building, but then maybe you'll have a first year psych class in Rosansky, or maybe you'll be in Alexander. So you'll really be all across campus. And that's why it's really nice that you don't need to apply to specific residence based on what type of program that you're in. In terms of fees for residence buildings, please just visit the website, because typically a single room is more expensive, but it can vary. So we just encourage students to visit the housing website. Michelle, there's a question here about the student profile form and asking if it is mandatory. Could you maybe just speak to that again about the student profile form that's optional but strongly recommended?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, it is optional, but we strongly encourage everyone to complete this form, even if you believe your admission average will fall within that estimated range, as it will depend on the quality and quantity of students that apply. But this form we will look at in the third round of offers, but we encourage you to complete it if maybe in the second round, if you haven't received an offer yet, then this is a really good opportunity to make sure you submit that student profile form by May 1st, 2021. And it gives you that opportunity to outline anything that may have affected your grades. So that way you'll make sure that you can gain up to 5% to your admission average once it is evaluated, and we will assess that and make the decision based on that form.
Yeah, thank you. And in terms of supplementary documentation, as Michelle mentioned, please visit the website, especially for certain programs. So Bachelor of Landscape Architecture and Diploma in Turf Grass Management, they are mandatory parts of your application. With the student profile form, it is optional. So just be sure to make sure if you're applying to certain programs that you double check what forms are required. There's a question here about how can students afford to pay for fees in residence while studying and also getting good grades? And that's a really great question. I think Michelle and I will both answer this question speaking from our experiences. I was someone in high school that got very involved. I was on the basketball team. I was on a rep team outside of high school. I was in student council. I just loved being a part of everything, and extracurriculars were a really big part of almost my identity too as a high school student. I just loved trying out different areas. I was looking at different universities. I wanted to make sure that I was really trying everything out and seeing kind of what my hobbies and interests were. So then when I came to university, I was like, I can't just be in my classes. I can't just be going to school. I need to make sure that I get involved and join different clubs and organizations on campus. And I actually joined the rowing team in my first year, and it was a bit adventurous. I'd say I had pretty early morning practices, but it was such a great way for me to meet people. That's how I met my roommates, and that's who I lived with in my upper years. I also worked as a campus tour guide. So I gave tours maybe like 2 to 3 a week, and they were 2 hours in length. I also worked part-time as a social media ambassador. So I ran our Snapchat account. So I encourage all of you to follow us at U of G Admission, a great way to stay connected with us. And I had a very busy schedule, but I can honestly say that it's actually what helped me improve my grades by having more of a rigorous schedule, where if I had a tour at 1 o'clock on a Friday, and let's say a paper was due at 4 o'clock, it was really important for me to know that schedule ahead of time and then use my time management skills to make sure that I was prepared and got things done ahead of time. I found that when I didn't have a busier schedule, that's actually when my grades weren't as strong, because I tended to procrastinate a little bit more. So I found that having a busier schedule kept me on top of my grades and made sure that I was keeping to kind of the schedule and just really being prepared. We also have so many services that you can access as well in the library. I'd say Guelph takes more of a proactive approach to academics. We have a retention rate over 90%, meaning that over 90% of our students will return for will return after first year into second year. And I think that's just because of all the supports that we offer to our students. I know I attended one for writing services, where I learned how to write an academic paper at the university level, also how to cite different things, whether it was APA or MLA style. And I just found that these different sessions and webinars were really important. Supported learning groups was another great resource, where I attended a 3-hour study session once a week. It was led by an upper year student. I believe I attended, it would have been Psych 1000. So for maybe some of the more challenging first year courses. And it was just a great way to go over course content. There was mock midterms, and having that really prepared me for that new university style and making sure that I was attending my lectures and taking notes more effectively. That was something also that I really had to adapt to in university, was learning how to take notes and being able to understand them a bit better. So a long answer, but I think it's a really important question. I wanted to make sure I kind of gave you my true, honest opinion. So Michelle, I'm sure a lot of what I just said is what you'll repeat. I know you worked in the admissions office when you were a student as work study, so maybe you could gear your answer a little bit more to what work study is.
Yeah, I definitely understand the concern, and in my first and second year, I was definitely trying just to find those study habits that worked for me personally. I also attended a lot of the supported learning groups and connecting with my professors to help me in those courses I was struggling with, and also adapting to such a new environment because I had never experienced being in such a new environment alone before. But when it was the summer of my second year and I was going into third year, and I realized I think it's time that I get involved. And in high school, keeping busy is what really helped me manage my time and with that structure. And then university, I found that I was trying to figure out how to create a structure and I didn't really know how. So going into my third year, I looked into the work study options, and this is under our experiential learning opportunities where you can gain hands-on experience either inside or outside of the classroom. So I applied to the recruitment and admission assistant position within the admission office. And this was a great opportunity to also gain experience, but also make money while achieving your university degree to make those fees a little more comfortable and more doable. So I worked in the admissions office in my third and fourth year. It was about 10 hours a week. And what was really nice is that I got to make my work schedule around my class schedule. The admissions office is right in our university center, so I could easily go to class and then walk right over to work without even having to commute anywhere. And everyone is really accommodating and works around any exams or midterms that you have to make sure that you can balance both work and school at the same time. And this personally for me helped me create a structure and manage my time more effectively, which helped me succeed academically as well.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. And what's really unique about Michelle and I's story is we're in this job right now because of the volunteer positions that we had, because we worked in the admissions office. So there's actually a question here, what do you have to do for working in the admissions office? And that's a great question. Michelle and I guess we'll both speak to our experiences. This is making me think back to a few years ago, but I started university in 2013, and in 2016, 2017, during that year, I was a tour guide. So a tour guide is a great job on campus. It's sad to say that we have no tours right now, just we are protecting the safety and the health of our students and our future students. So there are no tours right now, but as mentioned, there's so many different ways that you can see pictures and videos of campus. But as a tour guide, it was great because I started to build connections in the admissions office. From there, I then got to help out with some of our event days. So fall preview day, I did tours. I got to be a representative for my program. I got involved that way. So I was on the listserv for the applied science program, where we would get emails from the program counselor. Maybe it was a volunteer posting, if there was an event day and they needed someone to speak on a student panel to prospective students. So I just started volunteering for those things, got to know people in the admission office as well as in my program. And then the liaison officer job was posted. It was a contract position, and it was just such a great way for me to build that transferable skill set. And that's really important in university. I think sometimes in high school, you're so concerned with the program that's going to lead exactly to the job that you want to go into. But knowing that that can change, and really it's all about building those connections, networking. Even if you're a non-co-op student, you can still access the resources from our career services department. So I personally, when I was applying to this job, I got my resume looked at, I participated in a mock interview. So we really want to make sure that we have that skill set available for students to access in different resources. And it really just was connections, and that's how I landed the job that I'm in now. I've had a few different positions. After being a liaison officer, I then had a contract with our marketing communications team. So I got to be the social media intern. From there, I came back and did another liaison contract. And then I was in the liaison officer and national and transfer recruitment position for a little bit, which was an awesome job. I got to meet with students who were applying from out of province and many of our transfer students. And now I'm in this role. So I get to work with all the liaison officers and train them to be prepared to answer your questions. And it's been an incredible job. And we've also had students, Michelle graduated from a business program, and we have students that have graduated from so many different degrees at the university and will apply to work in the liaison job because you get to work on your professional skill set, such as presenting and how to work with different types of applicants and students and really develop those soft skills. And it's a great job that can really lead to so many different possibilities. So Michelle, do you want to speak to your experience a little bit?
Yeah, and you made a good point. When I started university and I was in the Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in marketing, I never even knew that this type of job existed. And I grew such a passion for the university and working in the admissions office. It's just, you never know where it's going to lead you. And it's just so interesting, the university experience, being able to navigate your own personal interests, which is so great. Yes, so for me, working in the admissions office, I scanned all transcripts that came into the university and I sent them electronically to the appropriate person within the admissions office. I also got to work at the front desk of our admissions office, answering some questions from current students and answering the phone of prospective students. And it was a great opportunity to make connections because through that position, I heard from one of the other colleagues in the admissions office who was previously a liaison officer that told me to apply for the liaison officer position. And I would have never known about it if I had never done that work study position. So it's just, you never know where it's going to lead you. But we do have over 4,000 on-campus jobs for students to choose from. If they're interested, you could work anywhere from being a research assistant in our intramural office, anywhere within athletics, as well as hospitality services. So there's so many different areas to choose from, and it's just a great opportunity to get involved, make connections, and also make some money at the same time.
Yeah, and these are great questions that are coming in, so please continue to ask your questions. We're happy to answer them here for you. A question here about how did you find out about all these jobs? It really does vary. I think social media accounts were a great way. Also looking on the various websites. So for athletics, I know that they post their jobs there for students that maybe want to be a lifeguard, personal trainer. There's also jobs that will be posted through the Ontarians or a campus newspaper. Sometimes they're posted actually like physical copies that are posted just on different bulletin boards across campus. I would also say connect with our Student Volunteer Connections network. And they have great opportunities that maybe it'll start with a volunteer placement, then it'll lead to a job opportunity, and also accessing the co-op and career services. Great admission question here. Michelle, someone wants to know what programs for undergraduate we recommend if they're looking at DVM.
So for the DVM program, so you can really choose any of our degrees, but as long as you have the requirements for the program, so that includes 8 course-specific requirements that can be found in the Bachelor of Science, and you'll also need experience working with animals and vets. A very popular program is definitely the Bachelor of Science because in there you gain all those prerequisites for the admission requirements for the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, and they're built right into the degree. And you're also working with professors that are also working in our Ontario Veterinary College. So it's the same award-winning professors, and this typically leads to over 50% of students from an undergraduate degree at Guelph applying and getting into the OVC. But a lot of students will also choose the Bachelor of Arts and Sciences, and they could choose anything from psychology for the arts and maybe zoology for the science aspect. And that's really important because when you are a vet, you are working with the owners of the animals. So you're connecting with people every day. So those communication and people skills are also very, very important. But I definitely recommend checking out our OVC website for those specific requirements, and then choosing the major in the program that you think you will succeed the most in to give you the best chance and opportunity to get into the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Michelle said, our fall preview day, so it's on Sunday, November 8th, we will have a session specifically for students who are applying to the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program, and it's a great session to attend and ask any of your questions there. So definitely encourage you to attend that event. Registration is live, and there's also an incentive for a chance to win a gift card if you register before October 30th. So just in the last few minutes again, please continue asking your questions. If you think of a question after the session today, the email listed on your screen there, find.yourself@uofguelph.ca. That is monitored by myself and my liaison officer team, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. And if we can't answer it, we'll put you in contact with someone that does. So just while we're waiting, Michelle, maybe to see if a few more questions come in, do you have any advice for future Griffins as they're navigating this new virtual environment?
So I know one thing for me that was definitely really hard to navigate in high school was choosing a program or choosing a major. So my biggest piece of advice for that is using our undergraduate calendars for each of our programs. There you can click each of the different majors to see a breakdown of courses that you will be taking throughout the 4 years, which will help you get a better idea of which area of that program you want to study. What's also really nice to know is that once you're at Guelph and you decide you want to switch your major, you can definitely do that. So just because in high school you apply to a specific major doesn't mean you're locked into that for the next 4 years. So there's definitely a lot of flexibility once you come to Guelph, working with your program counselor to help you navigate those different interests as well. So you don't need to figure it all out now, but definitely using all those resources on our website to help you get the best chance that you have to figure out what area you're interested in and just be prepared for the upcoming year.
Thanks so much, Michelle. I'll echo a lot of what Michelle said. I know this environment is new, it's difficult, it's not maybe what you expected, but as we mentioned, you're doing the best thing you can by attending these webinars. Everyone learns differently, so that's why we have so many different types of events that you can join. Maybe you prefer to download the digital viewbook and read it off your computer, but maybe you actually want the hard copy version. So you're going to, after the presentation tonight, maybe you're going to request for one to be mailed to you. We know that some people like the one-on-one setting and asking their specific questions. Maybe they're going to book a one-on-one meeting. So we have all those resources. I hope you can check them out after the presentation tonight. And as mentioned, please email us with any questions. We are here to support you. The last piece of advice that I'll give is also enjoy the journey. It's a really exciting time to be applying to university, and by doing your research and figuring out where you're going to attend university, and also enjoy the process of being in university because it flies by. I cannot believe I graduated more than 3.5 years ago. The University of Guelph really provided me with so many opportunities to build my professional and personal resume. I developed friends, I moved to the city full time, and I just had such a great experience in university, and I hope you'll be able to experience that one day soon. Great question about how long does it take to get the viewbook in a physical copy? I don't have an exact timeline because it's really based once you request the form, then it goes to an external company that is shipping out the books. It could be a bit delayed based on postage, but I hope it gets you within a few weeks. But if you don't get it by then, just connect back with us. But great question. So I think we'll wait and see if there's any more questions coming in, but thank you so much for attending. I'd also like to thank my colleagues, Michelle, for presenting with me tonight. Also my colleagues, Allison, Hillary, and Lauren, thank you so much for answering those great questions we had throughout the presentation. And with that, I would like to conclude this webinar. Hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Reminder, it is October 29th, and we'll be talking all about the city of Guelph. Thank you so much, everyone, and good luck on your journey.